Most of us go into our careers thinking it's all pretty straightforward. If you do good work, you'll get rewarded. Simple, right? But what if I told you there's another system running just underneath the surface, one that's actually less about your performance and a whole lot more about extraction? Let's dig into this hidden system.
Have you ever felt this? It's a feeling a lot of really competent people know all too well. You get some recognition, maybe you nail a big project, and then suddenly the vibe around you just gets chilly. A joke lands with a weird edge, or credit for your work suddenly gets spread around. No, you're not imagining it. This is a mechanism.
So, to really understand what's happening, you have to realize you're not playing just one game at work. You're actually playing in two systems at the exact same time. There's the official system the company talks about, and then there's the unofficial one that actually runs your day-to-day.
And this is where it gets really interesting. On one side, you've got the official rulebook, meritocracy, performance reviews, all that transparent stuff. But on the other side, that's where the unspoken rules live. Things like managing how comfortable the group feels, navigating social threats, and trading in this weird currency of emotional reactions. One's about what you do, the other is all about how people feel about what you do.
And that brings us right to the first layer of this whole hidden economy: emotional harvesting. See, some conversations you have at work aren't about solving a problem at all. They're about getting a reaction from you. Your reaction is the point. Let's just be crystal clear about what this means. Some of the people sitting across the table from you are not there to negotiate. They are there to harvest. Your frustration, your defensiveness, that super long email you stayed up till 11 p.m. writing to explain yourself, to them, that's not an explanation. It's raw material. And that's the absolute crucial point right there. The moment your reaction becomes visible, it becomes their asset. They can spend it on things like gaining credibility, controlling the narrative, or just being able to say they were the calm one in the room. The second your composure cracks, you've just handed over a very valuable resource for free.
And these emotional harvesters, they come in a few common flavors. You've got the baiter, who just kind of throws provocative statements out there to see if you'll bite. The gossip extractor, who will trade you a little bit of drama, hoping to get a bigger piece from you. Then there's the insecurity detector, the performative superior, and a classic, the fake confused manipulator, who will ask you the same question 5 different ways until you finally slip up and say something you never meant to.
All right, so let's zoom out a level and see how this all connects, moving from the personal to the organizational. We tend to think of burnout as this personal failure, a sign that we just couldn't handle the pressure. But what if it's not a bug in the system? What if it's a feature? Just think about that for a second. What if the company isn't actually trying to fix the overwhelming pressure? What if it's just watching to see how long you can take it before you finally break? This whole process is so predictable you can actually break it down into 3 stages. First up is expansion without compensation. Your responsibilities just keep growing, but your title, your pay, your support, they don't. Second, you get normalization of pressure. What used to feel totally insane now just feels like the job. And the third stage, silent replacement readiness. The system is already preparing for you to leave while you're still putting in the hours. And this just perfectly illustrates the dark, cold logic behind it all. I mean, why invest in raises or better supports or actually fixing the structure when the system can just apply pressure, squeeze out the maximum output, and then quietly replace you when you're used up? From a purely mechanical view, it's brutally efficient.
Now, this is the most counterintuitive, mind-bending part of this whole thing. What happens when you don't burn out? What happens when you actually excel? Well, in a lot of places, that's when the real punishment starts.
It has a name: tall poppy syndrome. Think of a field of poppies. The ones that grow taller than the rest, they get cut down to size. In a workplace, it's the same idea. People who stand out because they're really good at what they do get trimmed back by the group, all to restore the social balance.
This quote right here just nails it. The organization absolutely wants your excellent work, but it does not want the social disruption that your excellence creates. So you're stuck in this crazy contradiction. You're supposed to perform at the highest level, but you're not allowed to actually stand out while you're doing it.
And this management, it's almost never direct. It's more like death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's a bunch of small, deniable actions. Your big wins get minimized, or they're reframed as a team effort. Credit for your great idea gets spread so thin it's meaningless. You get called intense or a little too ambitious in a way that is definitely not a compliment. Any single action is easy to dismiss, but the pattern is impossible to deny.
And for the person being targeted, this has a profound effect. It starts with just pure confusion, like, what did I even do wrong? Then it shifts into self-monitoring, where you basically have a second job just managing everyone else's feelings. And finally, it ends in shrinking. You start holding back ideas, you turn down opportunities, you make yourself smaller just to survive.
So, if the system is literally designed to extract from you, how do you protect yourself? This is where a tactic called the gray rock method comes in. Now, it's not a solution for the whole broken system, but it is an absolutely critical tool for your own personal survival.
The name is pretty simple, and the idea is too. Your goal is to become as uninteresting as a plain gray rock. You deliberately deny people the emotional reaction they are trying to harvest from you. You essentially make yourself a boring target.
Okay, this is a super important distinction. Gray rock is not giving someone the silent treatment. That can just look like you're sulking. And it's not disengaging, which can signal weakness. No, it is a highly disciplined practice. You're separating what you feel from what you show. You still talk, you still do your work, but that emotional data, it's just no longer available for collection.
Think of it like this. Being assertive, setting boundaries, keeping documentation, all of those are essential tools in your toolbox. But gray rock? That's the foundation they all stand on. It's the emotional control that lets you set a boundary without any emotional leakage, or document a problem without any visible anger that could be used against you later.
So the most effective way to use this is in a sequence. First, you reduce your reaction. That's gray rock. Second, you reduce your exposure to the people who are running these plays on you. Third, you document their behavior consistently, not as ammo, but just as insurance for your own memory. And fourth, only if you have to, you escalate through the official channels, but you do it from a place of total stability.
But we have to be honest here. This technique has costs. That muscle you build to flatten your reactions at work, it doesn't just clock out when you go home. It can lead to feeling emotionally numb in your personal life. And socially, people at work might see you as cold or distant, which can make it harder for potential allies to connect with you. It is a survival tactic, not a lifestyle.
And this really gets to the heart of the internal discipline it takes, because the hardest part is fighting that very human need to explain yourself, to correct the record, to make that unsafe person finally see your side. The real discipline is in recognizing that the one person you want that understanding from the most is the one person who's least capable of giving it to you.
Ultimately, seeing all this machinery, all the gears of the extraction economy, it isn't about becoming cynical. It's about becoming strategic. It's about making a conscious choice. This system is hungry. It wants your emotional energy, your extra hours, your over-explanations, your visibility. So the final question isn't what this system is going to take from you. It's what you will consciously choose not to give.